Hello, good people. It is Todd Shannon, data scientist, social commentator, and getter of buckets. And what are we talking about today? We got to talk about your girl, Megyn Kelly, and her take on the Russel Brand situation. Now, Megyn Kelly recently appeared on this Australian, conservative Australian news outlet called Sky News Australia, I believe is what it's called. And they're weighing in on the Russel Brand situation. Now, I think Megyn Kelly is kind of out of pocket here. I think she's in her feelings right now, and we're going to talk about it. So let's jump right into it.
Repeat some of this stuff on the telly right now, but what's your view about some of the backlash here, where people seem to think that if they defend Russel Brand, then if his YouTube channel disappears, they'll be able to get part of his 6 million followers? What do you think?
All right, so right away, we're off to a terrible start because this guy, whoever this guy is with his rather, meaty face, I'm sorry to be mean, but he started it. This guy now is talking about, hey, what is this thing where people think if they defend Russel Brand, they're going to get part of his, 6 million YouTube followers. I guess presumably when Russel Brand is, completely canceled from everything. More specifically, the people who have offered kind of skeptical views about some of these claims. Now, we'll talk about why those things are valid, but I'm surprised that Megyn, with all of her journalistic chops, didn't call him on this because this is a dishonest question. The whole premise of it is false. So, but we'll just keep going.
I am deeply concerned that we have gone from the absurd believe all women on the left to the absurd believe no women on the right. It's an overcorrection and it's wrong. I understand where these mostly conservative men are coming from. They're on their heels, they're jarred, and they're angry about what happened during the Me Too movement, which was a disgusting overreach. It started off as something that I think had some nobility to it, and it wound up a politicization of regular politics where we were taking down men left and right, often without even the whiff of an investigation. It was just like one person came forward and a guy's entire career was over. So I understand why they're now like, no to all of it. No to any media investigation that brings down a powerful man, because
okay, let's correct a few things here. I'm going to bring you in close because this is important. Megyn, nobody is saying believe no women. Nobody is saying no to all of it. This is a straw man. This really bugs me because Megyn Kelly should know better. Okay, let's just formally lay out what people have a problem with about these brand allegations. Now, I did a video on this the other day, and I coined a new phrase, I think. I don't know if it's going to catch on, but it comes from the term strategically timed assault allegations, right? Or a stale allegation. Now, a stale allegation has two components. One is it involves allegations that a woman has been sitting on for years, sometimes decades. And so the motivation sometimes about why they want to talk about it at this particular moment is often questionable, right? It's at least curious. But then you couple the timing, right? Hence the term strategically timed. The timing is when a man that's being accused happens to be on the uptick with respect to their prominence, certain political ideologies or ideas, and or there's clearly something to gain from taking them down in a public sense. So Russel Brand, in many respects, kind of checks both of those boxes because politically, he's got some rather interesting and unpopular opinions, particularly about Big Pharma and other things. Especially, some of the things he said about the pandemic and how it was handled. So this is quite curious. So those are the components of strategically timed assault allegations. And this situation fits that bill, a stale allegation. So no one is saying if this would have been, hey, this thing happened a few months ago, or it recently happened. Russel Brand apparently had some tryst with a woman in some hotel room the other day. First of all, that'd be dirtbaggery because the guy's married apparently. And second of all, the woman would have reported it in a timely manner. There wouldn't have any question about the timing of it. So this thing where she's saying conservative men are like, believe no women. It's complete nonsense, and she should know better. Okay, let's continue.
I could be next, right? This is sort of the second layer thinking there.
Correct.
However, what I think especially people who are more conservative or right-leaning need to remember is look around you. All the conservatives I know, I mean, truly, the vast, vast majority of conservatives I know, the men, are decent, honorable, loving family men who would never behave in a way like Russel Brand is accused of behaving. Before they rush to...
These are facts. These are facts, Megyn Kelly. Most of the men I know for myself, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christ follower. And I even said in my video where I talked about the situation with Russel Brand, Russel Brand's no Boy Scout. Russel Brand was living a life of debauchery and sexual immorality, okay? And whether he did these things or not, he certainly put himself in a situation that was compromising such that he made himself vulnerable to this type of attack. And so what I say to young men is, don't be Russel Brand. You know who will likely never in a million years ever accuse you of sexual assault is your wife. Okay, that's the way that works. So there is a prescribed way with respect to sexuality, sexual morality, that we should behave as men. And I believe that God sets those boundaries. So I'm not sitting there defending him. But the interesting thing is that, and we'll get more into this, I think, in a bit, they're talking like they already know the man's guilty, which I find bizarre. Let's continue.
Defend somebody like this, they need to pause and think about their own honor code and their daughters and their wives and their sisters. If he had sex with a 16-year-old when he was 31, I'm done. I'm not his fan. I'm perfectly comfortable condemning that full force.
What I find, you're so right. I mean, what I find so just uncomfortable and frankly detestable here is the idea that because I agree with this person on X, Y, or Z, I will therefore defend every single thing about their past or about their behavior.
All right. I'm telling you, this thing, it just keeps getting worse. Okay. First thing, they are pretending like they already know that the man's guilty. These are allegations. Let me bring it in close once again. Allegations. Do we understand the difference between allegations and proof? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Daily Wire right now doing a documentary called convicting a murderer? So I get them confused, right? Because it was basically based on the previous Netflix series called Making a Murderer. And now they've got a kind of the book into it of convicting a murderer. And what they demonstrate, and I've watched kind of a couple of 3 episodes so far, I'm not all the way through it. But what they demonstrate is that whenever you try to have basically a trial by documentary, that's a bad look. The whole premise of convicting a murderer is that they use the documentary in a deceitful and propagandistic way, such that they left out very important details. And the most important thing that's been left out of this documentary is Russel Brand's defense. Okay? Unless these people know something that we don't, then they don't know what they're talking about. Why should we be coming out to condemn Russel Brand when we don't know that he's guilty? Everything about this is terrible, right? And nobody is saying, like literally nobody is saying, hey, if he did these things, I still stand by him. Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is, yeah, we don't know if he's done these things. And the timing of these allegations are curious. You know, it's a stale allegation, as I alluded to earlier. So what the heck are they even talking about? Okay, I don't even know. This is just bizarre. And this is one last thing I want to address because, and you can watch the full thing. I won't go back to it here. But this idea that because, you know, we agree with Russel Brand, I don't know if these people understand it. Russel Brand's not a conservative. He's not a conservative. He's not a Christian. I think I got to give him respect. Respect is due. I think he is searching. I think he's searching for deeper meaning. I think he recognizes that his former life was full of debauchery, and he wouldn't defend. Not even Russel Brand would defend his old life, right? But the idea that now Russel Brand, we're claiming him in our ideological camp. Russel Brand's really just he just tangentially agrees with a lot of Christian kind of conservative or people who have a religious worldview. He had some overlap, but really the guy is pretty. I would say he's mostly on the left. He's not center right. He's center left, right? He just happened to have some opinions, with respect to the pandemic and the jab and all these other things that I think resonate with conservatives. But he's certainly not in our corner. So this whole idea that just because we quote agree with him, we're going to defend everything he does and defend his past. Russel Brand's not even defending his past. This is silly. So this just tells me that when you're in your feelings, right? When you are not objective, when you don't stop and think about what you're saying, you can make all types of weird and come to all kinds of strange conclusions, right? But this is what this challenge is about. This is not Todd feels, right? Not Todd feels, Todd thinks, right? And so I want to help you learn how to think through these things and be logical. Listen, if he did these things, I'm the first one to be like, hey, you got what's coming to you, bro, especially the accusations about the underage girl, which seem to be the most serious and egregious. But let me know what you think, friends. Is Megyn Kelly out of pocket? Is she talking nonsense? I think she's out of pocket right here. And but if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Also, if you like this content, please like, share, please subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because I think, I'm just going to say it. I think the YouTube overlords, they would prefer not to have content like this on their platform. So it might not get served up to you. So make sure you hit that notification bell. And till next time, friends, God bless you.